It is the 4th World Games and we are here at the Coarse Fishing section. There are 2 divisions in coarse fishing, Masters and Ladies. The Masters starts today and the guys are starting to pack down. Everything needs to go into the box. They have 2 hours to prepare. We're going to talk you through exactly what coarse fishing is about.
Coarse fishing is float fishing, with no weight anchored to the bottom. The bait is presented naturally and will move with the water. There are 2 methods: the long pole with an internal elastic system and the match rod, where a larger float is cast out to a further distance. Teams consist out of 4 or 5 anglers, hence the water is divided into 4 or 5 sectors. A member of each team will be placed in each sector. During the preceding day, the captains of the teams draw a sector for each angler. The anglers can then prepare for that specific sector. On the morning of the championship, a peg is drawn randomly in that sector and then the angler can land up on any of the pegs. There are quite a few systems put in place to make sure that it is extremely fair. When the anglers enter their boxes, they have 2 hours to set up. During this time, they assemble their seed boxes, poles and other equipment and prepare their bait for inspection. They measure the depth of the water at various distances and they spend time understanding the bottom of the water in their pegs. They will prepare several top kits, each optimized for a specific distance, method or fish species. All activities are allocated a specific time and are governed by a siren. The duration of the match is 4 hours and on the last siren, only fish landed and out of the water will count.
At the beginning of the session, it is important to check the amount of bait. There is a limit on the amount of ground bait as well as the amount of live baits. So worms is 1 liter and ground bait is 20 liters. So it is important to check it in calibrated buckets before we start. Coarse angling is pretty much float angling. And for float angling, you need a long pole that will be able to get in 11.5 meters so that you can fish any depth from right in front of you up to 11.5. You've got no reel on the pole, but you have an elastic system, an internal elastic system. So the rig will be connected to this connector at the end of the elastic, and the elastic is what plays the fish. So you will see a float with a line down to the hook touching the bottom, and on top of that there will be a pole, and if a fish bites, once the angler has hit it, we will see the elastic going out. That is what plays the fish. The match rod is used to cast a heavier float to a distance beyond where the pole can reach. Using a sliding setup, deep water can be fished easily. A soft rod with a normal coffee grinder type reel is used, preferably with sinking line. A float stabilized by some weight on the line presents the bait perfectly with a hook and some line on the river bottom. Feeding is done accurately by catapult. France and Italy perfected this during the 2nd day and did extremely well. There are 9 teams in the Masters division. That means there are 9 blocks per sector. There are 4 anglers per team, hence 1 angler per team in a sector. So in the sector behind me, there will be peg 1 to peg 9, 1 person per team on each peg. It does not mean they have to be on a certain peg for the team. So Team South Africa can have D5, C2, B7, etc. They compete in the sector against each other for the best position. The best position will receive the least penalty points. So a first place in the zone will return 1 penalty point. The team with the least points is the winner. 10 minutes before the start of the match, anglers may put some feed in the water to attract fish onto their spot. This action is referred to as heavy feeding. It is one of the most important tactical actions for each angler and indicative of team strategy and performance. This can be done by hand, pole cup or catapult. It is intended to initialize feeding and creates an area for the fish to relate to. It can be quite complex, and anglers would feed the various depths or areas differently, focusing on size, type, and species of fish they are targeting. For instance, a lot of worms will be chopped up and fed on the spot the angler would target the barbel, whereas targeting the carp would require a maze-based approach. It is the end of the first day, and in Zone C, Thijs Venter of South Africa won the zone. What was your total weight, Thijs?
5.79.
So it's just short of 6 kilos. Very nice bag, and it was worth the first place in the zone. Let's hear from Thijs what he did.
So this morning the game plan was very, very simple. We prepared on a specific depth, which is around about 2 meters. We prepared all our light floats for that, just behind the ridge. And we kept some worms there and some strawberry feed. And on our deep bowl, we put a lot of lean and worms out on a full 11.5 meter bowl.
Where did you catch most of your fish?
Most of the fish came up from the front line. However, I saw I was lagging behind in the zone, and then I probed the deep line about 4 times today. It delivered me probably 2-point-something kilos.
Barbel inside or?
No barbel.
No barbel.
No barbel.
No.
Massive mudfish. I had 2 very decent mudfish, probably around a kilo. And up front this morning I caught a mochel, which was probably way over a kilo as well, and that's what's...
So it was mochel and muddies?
Mochel and muddies. That's
oh well, that's excellent, good work. The siren will indicate 5 minutes before the end of the competition. This is to let the anglers know that they are nearing the end of the day. Once the siren goes off 5 minutes later, no more fish may be added to the net. If a fish is on the line when the siren goes off, it may unfortunately not be added to the bag anymore. Only fish caught and landed before the end of the last siren will be weighed.
I think it's 7 pounds, right?
Team Captain Alessandro is here with us, and we just would like to hear from him. What did you learn on one day before the championship? You changed your strategy.
Yeah, we had to change something because we had a problem to catch the big catfishes. We have seen that England and Netherlands were very ready to do that. So to get our own chance of middle result in the middle of the graduatory. We tried to catch as small fishes that we could.
What small fish?
We caught a lot of mudfish, were average size 75 grams, 100 grams, and same size yellow fishes. And the last day, yesterday in the match, also the muggles have been caught in that area, and two of us won the sector with muggles. I think it depends about the feeding way, and we had little luck. We changed the strategy, and it paid because not many big fishes have been caught yesterday. So strategy to catch small fishes to be in the middle of the section.
So what did you do on the feeding side on ground bait? What did you change?
We were feeding for catfish in quite too heavy. I mean the ball that we fed in the bottom were quite too sticky, and we never caught something bigger than 3 kilos, where Holland and England up to 10 kilos I've seen them catching. So we fed 2 lines now, and we have seen that the short line at 7-8 meters is good enough to catch about 1 kilo, 1.5 kilos of small fishes, and usually it was okay to be in the middle of section. So we will keep today this same strategy. Hopefully that no many big catfish will be caught.
On the first day of the competition, Stephanie Manès from France had a big fish on, and in this case, most probably a barbel. With her coach by her side, she fought it very well for almost an hour, but she could not land it. She repeatedly managed to get the fish up, but in the end, the line broke. Her coach was a nervous wreck during the fight, and she was devastated when she lost it. On day 2 of the championship, she was fishing well and then picked up another big barbel. At a stage in the match, she and both her competitors, on the left and the right, were all fighting giant fish. As per deja vu, she fought it for almost an hour, but could not get it into the net. She ended up losing her fish again and had to watch in agony as the ladies next to her each landed their prize fish. These 2 fish undoubtedly cost her the world champion title. South Africa's Jade Harmse had a near miss when her pole broke, but she managed to catch the front section on the way to the water and landed it to give an excellent second place in the sector.
We are here with Elsa Kleinons. Elsa Kleinons did extremely well yesterday. She had the top bag. She caught nice big barbel, almost as big as her. And she had a first place yesterday in her section and overall. Today, she had a 5th place. And that means it brings her in the silver medalist position for the day, for the championship. So we have a podium from South Africa. In the 2nd place, Elsa, well done with a brilliant silver medal.
Thank you very much.
How do you feel?
I can't say it. Excited, but humble.
Humble.
Yes.
How did you do it today? Just to keep it there.
Just don't give up. You must go again and again and again. If you lose one, you take it again and again. That's all that I did.
Any advice for young girls wanting to start fishing in South Africa? What must they do?
Okay, I think you must get someone to learn that you can learn from, one of the top anglers, and learn the right way. Don't do it the wrong way. It's very difficult if you is wrong to correct it in the future.
That's it. To all the young girls out there that want to start fishing, get the right coach, start fishing properly, correctly. Now Elsa is not only an avid angler, but she is also
the chair lady of the South African Bank Angling Ladies Committee. So she is the chief in charge, the small chief in charge for South African ladies angling. And she does not lead from behind, she leads from the front, and she brings home a silver medal for South Africa. Well done, Elsa.
Baie dankie.
Seppo Penny from Finland had the heaviest bag on day 1 and was leading the field from peg A1. The drawing system is regarded as extremely fair, and with a high amount of outside pegs though, only 2 teams would end up with having 2 outside pegs in the entire championships. Beating all odds, Finland managed to get the outside peg on Sector A both days. With a lot of luck and extremely low probability, Seppo happened to be the Finnish angler on Sector A, fishing the same peg 2 days in a row. He had to make the most of the advantage and fished brilliantly, very accurate, and executed the plan to precision. He started off with the same feed called Val Frenzy, which he prepared separately for 2 lines. On the closer lines he wanted it to make a cloud and fall slowly, thus kept it a bit drier and did not compact it. On the longer line he added some lean and chopped worm, squeezed it hard and fed it with a pole cup. He fished with a number 14 hook on a 0.14mm diameter hook length and a 0.16mm main line. The shotting pattern was pretty simple, with one dropper 300mm away from the hook and the bulk further up. He fished the lightest possible float for the conditions, around 1 gram. He had a total weight of 18.25 kg with a few quality bonus carbs. This was even good enough to earn him a front cover. At the end of each day, each competitor's fish are weighed after the final siren signals the end of the competition. Anglers then bring their catches to a calibrated scale to be weighed. It is the total weight of all the fish combined that counts. The number of fish is not relevant at all. Once the weight has been recorded and agreed on by the officials as well as the anglers and team captains, the angler signs the weigh card. It is important for the angler to make sure that every fish was weighed, so a thorough check of the keep net is conducted before the fish are placed on the scale. Long keep nets are used to ensure good fish care, and all fish are carefully released. We are here with Emma Pickering, a former world champion, and it looks like England has come into the bronze team position. Emma, for you personally, quite a tough championship. I know it's difficult to see it from the other side.
It's
your take on it?
It's been very, very difficult for me. I think I've drawn C-section both days. I think I must have upset the manager somewhere along the line, but I've drawn pegs 8 yesterday and peg 7 today. And coming to it today, we knew how hard it was going to be. we knew I'd be lucky to get a bite, and I've caught one small fish, but it hasn't made a difference for the points. But ultimately it's a team event, it's across 5 anglers and obviously your reserves and your guys on the bank, so we all pulled together in. The girls have done amazing today. Kaylee's won a section, and we've got a bronze medal.
What went through your head as you were going through this very, very difficult day for you?
I think because I knew it was going to be a difficult day, I had it in my head that I know it's going to be difficult, I'm fishing for a bite, concentrate to the very last second, which I've done. I've done everything I possibly can to try and get a bite, but you've just got to stay confident and never give in. Like the guys on the bank have been brilliant, and I feel absolutely gutted for me personally, but amazing for the team. But you've just got to keep fighting till the end, because if you don't, there's no point in being here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So well done.
Yeah, thank you.
You stuck to it to the end.
Yeah, I did.
So congratulations on your team.
Thank you.
And may you have a great year in the year to come.
Thank you, and thank you very much for the event. It's been excellently organised
Thank
throughout.
you very much. The ladies' individual winner was Joanna Drgas from Poland, with our very own Elsa Kleinhans from South Africa in second place, with a great performance on both days. After day 1, Elsa was in the overall first place, with some good bonus fish in her bag. Kaylee Smith from England matched the team performance and took bronze. The ladies from Hungary performed extremely well to take the gold, a performance that was repeated the next day when Hungary also took gold at the feeder championships in Bloemhof. Italy was second and completing the podium with another third place medal with the ladies from Team England.
Very well done.
She didn't believe it.
In the Masters division, the individual gold was taken by Seppo Penny from Finland, who made the most of his 1 in a million draw situation that saw him seated on the same outside peg on both days. Francois Bernot from France also had a perfect 2 points, but had a lesser weight. Gino Bacci from Italy took bronze with 4 points. The teams from Italy and France tied on points with 25 each, but France had the higher weight and took gold for the second year running. Both these teams fished the match rod perfectly for barbel at about 20 meters from the bank. England was not prepared for this tactic, but did extremely well on the pole to snatch the bronze from Finland, who were in the second place after day 1.